You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, our family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
We believe in the American way, and we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag because we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. We never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides, God gives the rights. We're Americans. We fish the waters and we hunt the lands. We forge the steel with our own two hands. With what we've got, we do the best we can. We're Americans.
This is Rio of Madison Rising, and you're listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
It's time now for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show. Now, here's Grouchy.
Damn that Seaman. Oh, he's fired. See what happens when you give the intern the night off? He's terrible, Rick. And all I do is feed him. I mean, I don't even give him a salary, but I guess I get what I earn, right?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of get what you pay for. I mean, I doubt you're feeding him lobster, so.
I'm working on a deal with Steak-'em so I can just feed him Steak-'em.
Nice.
According to some think tanks, little Twitter network mapping thingamajiggy, I was one of the major contributors to Steak-'em being verified. So I'm hoping that'll get me in with Steak-'em and get a deal for Seymour, because he's killing me. He kills my fridge. Jeez.
Wait, they finally got verified? When did that happen?
It was like yesterday or the day before.
I was going to say, I
just got it.
I was going to say, I think it was it today? Because I know they weren't verified yesterday.
It could have been. Now that I'm not at work, I get my days confused. So.
Oh, yeah, shut up. You guys have a little bit of ice on the roads. All of us, snowpocalypse, we got to shut down.
Hey, work at home. Yeah, I can do that. Thanks. I've been binge watching Peaky Blinders on Netflix. So great show.
Nice.
Yeah. That's my hard work. So anyway, we're going to get things kicked off today. We're going to real quick just we're going to talk about Apple and their financial reinvestment into the U.S. marketplace here in a little bit. But one of the other pieces of Apple news that's not getting a lot of attention is some of what's going on that we're not really going to talk about tonight. But Apple is going to be giving employees a bonus of $2,500 in restricted stock units, thanks to the new tax reform law. More of the quote-unquote crumbs, as Pelosi likes to call them, that working people will not get to see. And in case you're wondering, this is not just executives. The average salary at the Cupertino, California Apple home base is $101,000 a year. So, what that means is what it means, okay? An average is just that. It's an average of all the employees there. It's $101,000 a year. So the average employee at Apple is going to take home a handsome stock bonus that is only going to serve to multiply and benefit them more down the road, thanks to tax reform. Other news, going on in other places. In case you have not heard, Bradley Manning, the dude that likes to dress up like a girl and put makeup on his face and call himself Chelsea, is going to run for Senate in the state of Maryland. Why? Because Maryland passed a law that allows felons to run for office there. Creates a huge conundrum for Democrats. Rick and I were briefly discussing it before I came on the air. But I want to play for you the ad that Bradley/Chelsea has chosen to run. It's I hope you haven't eaten anything that is I don't know, how shall we say, may make you a little bit queasy, because this is not going to help.
Projectile vomit warning.
What's that?
Projectile vomit warning.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead and hit it for him. Let him get a dose of this.
I'm Chelsea Manning, and I approve this message.
We live in trying times. Times of fear. Of suppression. Of hate. We don't need more or better leaders. We need someone willing to fight. We need to stop asking them to give us our rights. They won't support us. They won't compromise. We need to stop expecting that our systems will somehow fix themselves. We need to actually take the reins of power from them. We need to challenge them at every level. We need to fix this. We don't need them anymore. We can do better. You're damn right we got this.
Okay. There was no chance in hell that he was not going to use that "we got this" tag that he puts on every one of his freaking tweets with an alphabet of emojis. So, hey, Rick, I know you're not feeling well, but if I can borrow you for just a second, let's briefly just kick around what we were talking about Manning in Maryland. Joe started.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Sure, no problem.
And if you do, just tell me to shut up and do my own thing and leave you alone.
No, it's all good. So basically, this has kind of been an idea that's been being kicked around for some folks that I've gotten to know in talk radio biz. And here's the thing. And I asked this on America Off the Rails. So for those of you who are listening to that, this is about to be a repeat question. Without using Google, I want you to look up the senator in Maryland that Manning is going to primary without using search engine. Because I guarantee you, unless you're a complete political junkie, you probably don't know, because I am a complete political junkie, and I had to use Google. So the reason this is important is because Manning already has one thing that apparently this person does not: name recognition. Exactly. We also have the entire group of Bernie Sanders supporters that are all about LGBT, everything else. So, and Bernie Sanders was one of those folks that was getting grassroots $5, $10, $15 donations from all across the country. So if he can find a way to plug into those groups and then also get donations from the LGBTQ, ABC, LMNOP folks, then he's got a good chance at having a pretty good war chest for this primary. Why this becomes important is because if he wins the primary, that puts a Maryland seat in play in the Senate for the Republicans that was a safe seat before now, because there are lots of Democrats that still will not vote for him because of the fact that he's a convicted felon. Not to mention the fact that, you know, even a lot of Democrats are not comfortable with transgender, no matter what their party tells you.
Well, that, and not just a felon, but a treasonous felon. I mean, really, this guy gave away state secrets.
Yeah, I mean, anybody else would have been probably shot. He got a sentence that was commuted instead.
Right. So which senator will he be primarying? Will it be Cardin or Van Hollen?
I believe it's Cardin, but I don't have the information in front of me right now.
Okay. I was just curious. So, All right. Well, look, so there you go, folks. And Rick, thank you for your insight on that. And, that's, again, this would be a great swap off if Manning were to actually get through the primary and then lose the general to a Republican. This would make up for the god-awful candidate that made it through the primary in Alabama to lose to a Democrat, to put Alabama's first Democrat in 25 years back into D.C. So, that is what it is. And hopefully we can, get that seat back. So go ahead on, Bradley Manning. Do your thing. And no, I will not call Bradley Chelsea. I the best you'll get from me is a slash or a hyphen, Bradley Chelsea. But that's only to clarify something when I start talking, because most people have already given in and just started calling this person Chelsea. And look, I don't care, okay? I don't care what you want to dress up and pretend to be. That's perfectly fine. Own it, though. Don't try to back out of it. Halfway do it. You can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. You can put makeup on a boy. It's still a boy. You can grow the hair long. It's still a boy. You can put it in a dress. It's still a boy. You can even surgically change the plumbing, but you cannot change those chromosomes. It's still a boy. And that's enough of that crap.
Gender.
So anyway, yeah, I know. I'm horrible. I'm like those heartless, unfeeling people that believe illegal immigrants should have to go back to their country of origin. We're just hateful, bigoted, racist people because of that.
But it's not their fault. Their parents did it. I mean, come on, that would be like saying, their parents stuck them into a movie theater, and because their parents got caught, they shouldn't be allowed to get a lifetime pass to the movies.
Well, exactly, and a certain individual or two that we'll say this. I was chatting with them earlier about a former quote unquote club member who had a staggeringly ignorant view of an article that was written about the one that was being deported recently. The man had broken the law. He violated his status, and he was arrested, and the man confessed to his crimes, and he knows that in violating the law like he did, he gives up his right to legal status in the United States. So don't tell me how heartless it is to deport this man because it's going to leave his family without a father, his children without a father, his wife without a husband here in the United States. He knew this full well going into committing the crime. No one is responsible for this but him. I don't care whether you like it or not. Those are the damn facts.
You lost the liberals at facts. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Did I say that?
I get that. It hurts them. I know it hurts some people that call themselves Republicans or conservatives too, which is sad, but it is what it is. And I don't care who I piss off, so whatever. But anyway, the whole point of this was to get into the immigration discussion going on in D.C. right now. And the immigration and government shutdown cliffhanger gripping Washington, it's symptomatic of a bigger reality. American politics is held hostage to 3 nation-changing elections. 1 past and 2 that are yet to come. Okay, so DACA talks back to the starting line after Trump meeting, or after Trump took his perpetual victory lap after his 2016 triumph. It's locked into hardline positions on immigration on which he built the foundations of his campaign. Okay, So congressional Democrats, hoping for a vote tsunami in midterm elections this fall, are being driven on by a raging anti-Trump grassroots voting base as they seek to shield nearly 800,000 undocumented immigrants brought illegally to the United States as children. As they consider withholding support for government funding to leverage an immigration deal, Democratic leaders must balance pressure from progressives and the needs of vulnerable red state Democrats vital to their hopes of recapturing the Senate, who risk being branded by GOP foes as friends of amnesty. And look, any way you slice it, amnesty is not a good thing. And I'll be happy to discuss that with anybody offline if you want to take it up. You know where to find me on Twitter. I'm not hard. I just work the facts. So bring them. Then we have Democrats who they smell a chance to stand firm on immigration to woo 2020 primary voters who will, they'll pick who will duel an apparently weakened president for the White House. So we've got the wildly insane Cory Booker. He was slamming DHS Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen. He is allegedly one of those potential candidates for 2020. Cory Booker is. But could you imagine the insanity of Cory Booker? I mean, this guy is completely unhinged. And not to say that Trump doesn't have his unhinged moments, but he's also not trying to give the country away to non-American citizens like Cory Booker is. So anyway, this goes into other testimony about the Rick, what can I use on air and still be PG-13, to substitute for the S-hole? Can I just say crap hole?
Yeah, that'll work. Or you can say bung hole. Okay. I've heard that one a lot. Okay, we're just going to go with crap hole. Because I do try to keep it PG-13. And I mean, shit, I just don't want to say that on the... well, guess I blew that. Womp, womp. Anyway, he slams Kirstjen Nielsen for saying she did not recall Trump using that word. And he went on to say that her quote unquote amnesia, where is his comment? Anyway, is and God, Seymour. My notes are a mess. There was a comment he made that her amnesia was something, and I forget what he said. Well, if you'd buy your intern a pen, he'd stop making your notes with a ketchup bottle. I'm just saying.
We're gonna do better. We may have to fire Seymour and find a sloppy Steve intern. You know. I hear he's looking for a job. And he'll obviously work for food, so. Anyway, so he's slamming Nielsen for saying that she just doesn't remember Trump using the term. And it's ridiculous. If she didn't hear the word, she's not going to testify to having heard it. And Booker said, I've got a president of the United States whose office I respect, who talks about country's origins and my fellow citizens in the most despicable manner. You don't remember. You can't remember the words of your commander-in-chief. I find that unacceptable, Booker said. Hey, Cory, do you remember everything the president has said? He's your commander-in-chief. I mean, come on, let's get real. There are so many complicated electoral scenarios shaping the behavior of top players in this DACA program debate, and they're making compromises on an issue that is central to the DNA of both parties and repeatedly defies congressional action with even more, polarizing talking points. The standoff reveals just how polarizing it is in the two parties, tracking even further from the political center. And the excruciating process of dealing with the DACA recipients is an early sign of how the looming midterm elections and even the 2020 race are narrowing the political running room for big lifts on any contentious issue, whether it's the reform of infrastructure or entitlements. And we've talked about entitlement reform. This is something that the Republicans want to do. They want to do welfare reform. So, oh, here we go. Hey, look, here's the comment from Booker. He tells Nielsen, "Your amnesia is complicit," he says. Complicit. I don't know complicit to what, but it's complicit. While he's clearly exercised with the immigration debate and the potential prospect of a government shutdown, the president took time out on Tuesday to savor his achievement in 2016, a topic of which he seemingly never seems to tire of. He said, "How did I win Arkansas by so much when she came from Arkansas?" He marveled at this during a White House event on women, referring to his vanquished rival Hillary Clinton, before crowing about Michigan, which had been expected to go blue. But more importantly, Trump is having a tough time watering down the purity of the positions on immigration that were instrumental to his political rise. And look, folks, we've got the Ninth Circuit out west. This court that has 70% of their stuff either overturned or thrown out. Well, it's actually 68%, but it's close enough to call it 70. Imagine your boss coming up to you for your annual review, and they sit you down and they say, "Well, look, 70% of what you do is just pure garbage." You think you'd have a job after that? We do need some kind of judicial reforms that we can actually stand these judges up against and hold them accountable so that they're not practicing activism from their bench. Again, getting a little off topic here, but I just wanted to bring this up because they put a stay against Trump allowing, now get this, okay? And we touched on this a little bit last week, but DACA was enacted by a presidential memo. Not even an executive order. It was a presidential memo that put DACA into play. So we've got the Ninth Circuit saying that a current president is not allowed to expire a memo from a previous president. That's what it boils down to. That's what the legal holdup on eliminating DACA is. Now, Trump has already reneged on a campaign promise, in so much as that he's letting this very slowly sunset and begging Congress to come up with a fix for it. Okay, so basically he's backdooring out of the DACA issue is what he's trying to do. He's trying to backdoor out of it and then dump it in Congress's lap and hope that a bipartisan bill comes to his desk where he can throw his hands in the air and say, "Hey, I got to sign this. They sent it to me and they got enough votes, so I just got to sign it." So, and you've heard that from me a long time ago. My position on that has not changed. So, a week ago, Tuesday, Trump told lawmakers that he would sign any bill they sent him. Then 2 days later, he sunk a bipartisan deal to offer spending on his border wall in return for a reprieve for DACA recipients, apparently due to the prodding of his political advisor, Stephen Miller, the ideological architect of the campaign's immigration stance. Relationships fray in immigration fights, and that's just how it is. This is more like a flashback to 2016 when Trump's rhetoric won him a reputation among anti-Washington voters as a scourge of political correctness and a candidate who was quite happy to tear at racial and cultural divides for political gain. But it was also a flash forward to his 2020 re-election campaign. Since Trump made little attempt to broaden his appeal after the inauguration, he knows his best hope of winning a second term is keeping his base engaged. Now, CNN's Gloria Borger and Jim Acosta reported that Trump is convinced that despite the furor over his attack on African nations, his language will play well with his most loyal supporters. He didn't seem bothered by it at all, and he thinks it's going to help him politically, or might, one GOP source told Acosta. And again, I hate the quote-unquote source. Give your name or shut your pie hole. Now, back to DACA. Lawmakers shouldn't push for DACA deal this week. The Democratic grassroots is demanding principled, dramatic action by party lawmakers to save the dreamers. You know, I'm still working on a piece that outlines a breakdown of these dreamers. I don't have all the final numbers yet, but I can tell you this. I can tell you that there is a higher percentage of people that qualify under this Dreamer Act, under DACA, that have been convicted of crimes that have gone to college. Think about that. Okay? This is the big thing for them. You know, they want to tell you that so many are going to college. More of them are criminals than college students or graduates. That much I have ascertained already. We'll run down all of it once I'm done with it, but that's where this is headed. Okay? So there's deep apprehension right now among the progressive base, said the director of Credo, Murshid Zahid, a progressive social change network. Democrats have an open net. They can't chip wide right or wide left. There's no room for error, he said. The DACA issue is trapping the Democratic leadership between pent-up frustration in the grassroots and a Senate electoral map that is weighted towards Republicans. They must defend 10 Senate seats in states won by Trump 2 years ago, in many cases by wide margins over Clinton. That means incumbent Democrats in need, they will need independent and moderate Republican voters wary of the party line on DACA. 2020 contenders may put Democrats in a bind on DACA. GOP consultants are salivating over the possibility of mobilizing conservatives by accusing red state Democrats of voting to shut down the government to grant amnesty to undocumented immigrants. And I'm just noticing the time, Rick. I am sorry here. Hey, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue with DACA, and then we'll move on to some other stuff after that. Do yourself a favor and stay tuned. We'll be back in about 3 minutes.
Oh, but ain't that America? For you and me, ain't that America? Something to see, baby.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. you'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
America, you and me, ain't that America? Something to see, baby. Ain't that America? Home of the free.
Yeah. All right. Welcome back. Quick programming reminder. Coming up next is Jesse's POV, followed by the Stafford Voice. You should have already listened to America Off the Rails, and if you didn't, be looking for Rick to post the link, because you don't want to miss that. That kicks off your grand slam of conservative talk on KLRN every Wednesday night. So be here and do it right, and let's get this thing rolling, because we got about 20 minutes left. So we got Democrats that possibly might want to maybe shut down the government over DACA, but John Cornyn thinks maybe not. He says he can't imagine why they would want to do that and take that risk. Democrats in this position include Joe Manchin of West Virginia, Joe Donnelly of Indiana, Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota, Claire McCaskill in Missouri, and John Tester in Montana. Manchin said on Tuesday he would back a clean continuing resolution to keep government open this week, even if it is not twinned with a reprieve for DACA recipients. 10 is also the number of Democratic votes Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell may need to peel away to fund the government before a Friday night shutdown. So red state Democrats will continue to come under intense pressure. Still, progressives say the risk to Democrats in conservative states is overblown, pointing out that polls show an overwhelming majority of Americans back a right to residency for undocumented migrants brought to the U.S. as children. I'd like to know who these Americans are, and I'd like to talk to these idiots. It makes no sense, none at all. And it's a slap in the face to the immigrants that have done it the legal and correct way. It is an absolute slap in the face. It's just like saying it's okay to break our law because you got away with it. What the hell kind of message is that? So they cite polls using a potential blue wave in November. They argue that the victory of Doug Jones in the special election in deep red Alabama last year shows the party can play over all the map this cycle. Let me tell you something right now, okay? I'm a resident in deep red Alabama. Doug Jones winning here was nothing more than a crap Republican candidate being run, and that's the end of it. That is the end of it. This is not going to happen everywhere. You're not going to be able to play these games with every Republican candidate in every state. You might as well hang that up. Party tensions are being exacerbated by the ambitions of Democrats positioning for the primary race that will explode after November. Cory Booker's theatrics gelled with his passionate approach to politics, were as contrived and insincere as when he was the mayor of Newark. He's a BS artist at best and an outright liar and profiteer at worst. Now, Booker has already signaled that he will not vote for a deal to fund the government that does not include a DACA fix, making it all but certain that other progressive senators that could run for president in 2020, including California's Kamala Harris, New York's Kristen Gillibrand, come on, really? And Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts will follow suit, as they did the last time a stoppage funding bill passed in December. Speaking before Booker's performance, McCaskill bemoaned how the 2020 race was already complicating her life. How terrible for you, Claire. You can go home and let somebody else have that seat. We've got people running for the president all trying to find their base, and then you've got people from Trump states that are trying to continue to legislate the way we always have, by negotiation, she told the New York Times. And never the twain shall meet. She's trying to be so quaint. It doesn't work. So anyway, that's what's going on with DACA. And that was, a lot of that was even dug up from this morning. So that's pretty recent. We got Democrat and Republican congressional leaders hustling to unite members to pass a temporary spending bill to avoid a government shutdown before the weekend, with immigration and now military spending emerging as the main sticking points. Democrats' insistence that any bill include immigration reform. I'm all about some immigration reform, but it's not the reform you're looking for. Particularly protections for young illegal immigrants has been the major issue since Congress returned after the holiday break. Leaders of the House Freedom Caucus, the chamber's most conservative wing, said late Tuesday that its members and other House Republicans want additional money for military included in any short-term bill to keep federal agencies open after Friday. There is no support for the current leadership plan as proposed, said Freedom Caucus leader Mark Meadows of North Carolina. I can tell you there was overwhelming support to do the plan most of the GOP conference had supported 6 weeks ago, and that's the plan to fund the military and keep non-defense discretionary spending flat. Meadows also said the group came to a general consensus on the issue, though it did not have enough members present to vote on an official position. The Freedom Caucus has roughly 35 members, and House GOP leadership can only lose 23 party votes before needing help from Democrats to pass the spending bill. While leadership could likely get the Democratic votes, they could no longer argue that Democrats, not Republicans, refused to compromise to avoid a politically unpopular shutdown. Hey, look, let me tell you guys something. I don't know if you remember the last government shutdown. It was actually a pretty good thing. I mean, there were some dumb things that were done by the Obama administration, like sending park rangers to close open air monuments. How dumb is that? But all in all, why do we even have quote unquote non-essential government employees? Every employee should have an essential function in government, or they should take their ass home. Period. So those talks were soured by Trump's reportedly incendiary remarks about Haiti and countries in Africa in a closed-door meeting last week, where he allegedly referred to them as crap holes. We still have no confirmation that this was said. This is only a rumor, and yet it's been driving the news cycle for days.
Because it's all they got.
Yeah, I mean, it's pathetic. It really is. I mean, that we can't talk about anything else than a rumor. It is what it is. But Democrat leaders said they would not promise to vote to keep the government open past Friday without a plan to preserve DACA. We don't want to shut down the government. We want to keep the government open, said Steny Hoyer, noted liar from the state of Maryland. But we're going to be held hostage to do things that we think are going to be contrary to the best interests of the American people. I'd like to hear his explanation of how DACA is in the best interest of the American people, because I could counter that, and I'm not even an expert. In addition, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer of New York appears to have challenges unifying his members to vote in support of a short-term spending bill while keeping the blame off Senate Democrats for a possible shutdown. Senate Democrats such as Cory Booker, Kirsten Gillibrand, and Kamala Harris among the chamber's most liberal members, and each with possible 2020 presidential aspirations, voted against an earlier stopgap spending bill because it didn't address DACA, and they probably would do so again this week. Trump has already preemptively put the blame for a shutdown on Democrats. On Sunday, he urged and argued again that Democrats and their demands, not him or fellow Republicans in Congress, have throttled negotiations over DACA. And he's made clear that any immigration reform deal must include a U.S.-Mexico border wall and an end to the United States' so-called chain migration and diversity lottery immigration programs. DACA is probably dead because the Democrats don't really want it. They just want to talk and take desperately needed money away from our military, Trump said in a tweet. Who imagined that Trump would take to Twitter? The spending plan that House Republican leaders are now pitching to win over wary conservatives includes a 2-year delay on implementation of unpopular taxes on medical devices and generous employer-subsidized health care plans. The taxes, also unpopular with many Democrats, are part of Obamacare. We got to get rid of that crap once and for all. If we're going to have tax reform, let's have real tax reform, and let's keep American workers putting more of their paychecks in their pockets, not playing games with them from one year to the next. The temporary funding bill would also include a long-delayed 6-year renewal of a popular health insurance program for children of low-income families. This is the CHIP program. You've probably all heard of that already. House Speaker Paul Ryan unveiled the plan at a Tuesday evening GOP meeting. Lawmakers and aides initially said it was received well, raising hopes that a potential shutdown would be sidestepped with relative ease. So now, as we click and move on, a Republican senator, go figure this, you'll probably guess who it is before I get to his name. A Republican senator is denouncing President Trump's use of the terms fake news and enemy of the people to describe the news media and stories he does not like. Now, who would this be? It would be Senator Jeff Flake of Arizona, who said Trump's attacks were reminiscent of words infamously used by Russian dictator Joseph Stalin to describe his enemies. Yeah, Trump is Stalin. Flake went on to say it's a testament to the condition of our democracy that our own president uses words infamously spoken by Stalin to describe his enemies. In his speech Wednesday on the floor, Flake called Trump's repeated attacks on the media shameful and repulsive. Because Flake learned to sell his soul a long time ago. And he says that the president has it precisely backwards. Flake said despotism is the enemy of the people, and while a free press is the despot's enemy and a guardian of democracy. You know, I'm all for a free press, but I want an accurate free press. Okay? And we don't get that, Senator. We do not get accuracy from our press. Now, am I saying that everything Trump says is dead on accurate and appropriate? No, I'm not. But neither is it from the media. And it doesn't take an idiot to figure that out. Flake continued to say, an American president who cannot take criticism, who must constantly deflect and distort and distract, who must find someone else to blame, is charting a very dangerous path. And a Congress that fails to act as a check on the president adds to the danger. This is Flake trying to sound like an uber conservative now that he's on his way out because he decided not to run again after he got the polling news that he was at about 18% in his home state. Yeah, way to go, Jeff. So he's quote unquote retiring this year. How lame. How pathetically lame. So anyway, some other big news we talked about earlier. Apple, they are going to repatriate and contribute $350 billion with a B over the next 5 years into the U.S. economy. Apple said it will make about a $38 billion payment in taxes on its overseas cash and plans to open a second U.S. campus as part of a 5-year, $30 billion investment plan in the U.S. Apple said it plans a wave of investing and hiring in the United States and will create about 20,000 jobs through hiring at its existing campus and the new one. It will announce the location later this year. Combining new investments and Apple's current pace of spending with domestic suppliers and manufacturers, an estimated $55 billion for 2018, Apple's direct contribution to the U.S. economy will be more than $350 billion in the next 5 years. Not including Apple's ongoing tax payments, the tax revenues generated from employees' wages, and the sale of Apple products, the company said in a news release. Now, Apple said it will make about $38 billion in the tax payments to bring funds kept overseas back to the United States with the new federal tax laws and reform, and creating the 20,000 jobs through hiring at the new campus as well as the new or the existing one in Cupertino. We have a deep sense of responsibility to give back to our country and the people who help make our success possible, said Tim Cook, chief executive of Apple and homeboy from just like 20 minutes down the road from me, right here in Alabama. About a third of the new spending will be on data centers to house its iCloud, App Store, and Apple Music services. The company has data centers in 7 states and also on Wednesday broke ground on an expansion of its operations in Reno, Nevada, where local officials granted it tax breaks on a downtown warehouse. The announced tax payment was roughly in line with what analysts expected from the tax bill, which requires companies to pay a one-time tax on foreign-held earnings, whether they intend to bring them back to the United States or not. Apple has $252.3 billion in cash abroad and previously had set aside $36.3 billion in anticipation of tax payments on its foreign cash, meaning the payment would not represent a major impact on its cash flow for the quarter. So Apple did not indicate how much, if any, of its cash it would actually bring back to the United States, only that they would make the $38 billion payment. Oh, but I can tell you that Cook has confirmed that they will repatriate money. So Apple said it would boost its advanced manufacturing fund, which it uses to provide capital and support to suppliers such as Finisar Corporation and Corning, from $1 billion to $5 billion. It said it plans to spend $55 billion with U.S.-based suppliers just in 2018 alone, which is a $5 billion increase from last year. And it's joining Amazon in scouting for a location for a second campus in the United States. Amazon finished taking applications from cities in October for its second campus. So there you have it. Hold on, Rick, because we're going to do this real quick. We're going to press on to California real quick, where Jerry Brown has now seen some legal action take place that he thinks may make it easier for him to cut public employee pension benefits so that they can continue funding all their amnesty relief and illegal alien hiding, sanctuary city functions and things of that nature. So screw you, American citizens working in the state of California for the state of California. Screw you and your retirement. We need your money to help pay for illegals, health care, free school, free lunches, health, you name it, they're getting it free. So that's where your pension cuts are going to go. Watch for when this happens, because you should be raising holy hell. Now, folks, that's tonight's show. I thank you for joining me. Coming up next, as I reminded you earlier, is Jesse's POV, followed by the Stafford Voice. It has been my pleasure to be here with you this Wednesday. If you like the show, tell your friends. If your friends like the show, you likely need new friends, but they and you are welcome every Wednesday with me right here on KLRN Radio. Thank you and God bless.
Red, white, and blue is our way of life. Never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides, God gives the rights. We're Americans.